Rise and shine, it's a brand new day. Can and can take the stage, ready to play. Weekdays at 10, the cars on the scene. Coffee in hand, they're living the dream. Question in the voice, got the whole town awake. Bringing fire to the mic, make no mistake. Shows in the corner, spitting out facts. Dropping truth bombs, ain't holding back. Can and can in the morning, feel the heat. From 10 a.m. CST, can take a seat. We live and loud, that break in the mind. Light up your speakers, crank up the sound. They're talking about life upside down. Opinions exploded like a sonic blast. In the studio, they're built to last. With passion and grit, they engage and ignite. Every single week, their foes can't fight. From sports to politics,
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Hey, good morning. It's Friday.
I ain't gonna say shit. Did they suck your energy today? Usually it's a good morning Vietnam type of shit.
You know, I had to mix it up a little bit, make sure you're paying attention.
You mean I actually got to pay attention to you? Fuck.
I mean, it helps, man. It helps. Yeah. Hey, look, we got more preseason crap this week. I say it like it's a bad thing, right? Hey, good morning, Matt.
Hey,
good morning, Austin. Haas, good to see you, my friend. Good to see you.
Hey, what's up, man? Man, everybody's just popping in first thing.
Yeah. Well, Haas just did his show on the. I didn't get to watch it yesterday, but I posted it. He did a show on the Saints. I need to give that one a watch because I honestly don't know how the Saints are going to do anything more than 3 wins this year.
I think three wins would be a good season for them.
I think 3 wins would be a phenomenal season for them. But I mean, I'm
generally thinking that. What? Okay, I'll give them 3 to 5 wins as their ceiling.
Yeah, I feel sorry for the Saints, man, because they try to keep it together, and then you get Drew retires, and then you lose your coach, and then you think you're okay, but you're really not. Then you actually look like you're going to be okay, but then you get injuries, and it's just tough. I don't know. And then the Raiders, I don't get the talk on the Raiders being like a 3 to 5 win team. I'm sorry. I don't see it. I see them winning a lot more. I see that AFC West as being kind of like a mirror image of the NFC North. I could see the basement in that division winning 8 or 9 games.
Yeah, I was going to say I see the range somewhere like 7 to 9, so pretty much the same page.
We get these guys who are like, oh, the Raiders, they're going to win like 3 games. Like, really? I mean, it's not like their defense is trash. It's good. Yeah, they had a lot of injuries last year. Got it. Oh, but okay, this isn't Gardner Minshew. Okay, it's Geno Smith. It's not like, he's a world beater, but he's more than competent.
Yeah, he's not terrible by any means. What I worry about with the Raiders is their offensive line.
I mean, well, you got Brock Bowers, the ultimate safety gap who you can throw to 2,000 times. But now you've got Genty, and people have their doubts on Genty, but look, the fresh running back is probably going to at least soften lines up a little bit for you. So I don't get the they're not like NOLA or some of these other teams. And that's even like the Dolphins. Oh, the Dolphins are going to win like 1 game, 3 games. Like, yeah, I get it. They're dysfunctional. They've lost a lot on defense, but they still got an offense that's can be pretty explosive. My problem with Miami, where I don't really get, is bent out of shape about the argument on them. Good morning, Eric.
Hey there, Eric.
Happy Friday.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
must have been up all night playing Madden.
But with Miami, I get it because we've been watching the wheels fall off them for the last 2 seasons. You're just waiting for the rest of the wheels to fall off. But when you look at the Raiders, the wheels aren't falling off. They've been, putting Bondo on, doing touch-up paint, fixing the engine. You know, and then the Saints, they've been like, you know, going to the Napa Auto Parts, at least looking at parts to buy. They may.
I was going to say
they haven't been able-
somebody replaced the engine for the Saints with a cardboard box. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no, they haven't been able to afford the parts they need yet, but they're at least at the store looking. You know, they've got a couple. They put the fix-a-flat in at quarterback. You know, to try to hold them over. So they're doing a little something. But like Miami, yeah, you're like going, dude, your car is falling apart, and they're like, dude, my car is perfect. What are you talking about? It's like, dude, you have a 50-footer. No, my car is beautiful. Dude, you have a 50-footer. You guys know what a 50-footer is, right? A car looks great until you walk up to about 50 feet away and then it looks like trash. Yeah, that's the Miami Dolphins right now. Just kidding, though. I mean, so, Jesus. All right, Kyler.
Nah, Eric could beat Kyler's ass in Call of Duty. Come on.
So I mean, I get the arguments with the Saints. I see the arguments with the Dolphins. I don't get the arguments with the Raiders. I don't.
I think what a lot of that has to do with people are so used to the Raiders, at least relatively recently, being a bad team.
But even when they're bad, it's not bad.
But I think they have a lot of the end of the Al Davis years just burned into their head.
I mean, but even when the Raiders are bad, they're not bad. Like, that's the crazy thing with the Raiders. Like, yeah, their record may not be great, but they're, like, beating people up, and they're, like, in games, and they're making people earn it. They're not a pushover. So even when they're bad, they haven't been bad. They haven't been like, oh my God, burn it down and totally redo it bad. So now you add Pete Carroll, you add Geno, you know, you add Genty, you add some other pieces that they signed in the offseason, get guys coming back from injury. And like, okay, I get it, that division's tough. But then like, you know, at the same time though, when guys are sort of talking shit about the Raiders, about the Broncos, I mean, they're just going to be world beaters with their second-year quarterback, and they've got a great head coach. Like, and the Raiders don't have a great head coach. And the Raiders, I mean, I don't know. I think Geno's done more in his career than Bo Nix.
I get what you're saying, Ken. I'm just wondering, would people, like the general public, view Sean Payton as a better coach than Pete Carroll, or vice versa?
They'd be stupid if they did, to be honest with you. I mean, look, they're both really good coaches, but Pete Carroll's a better coach.
I'd put him on par.
Oh, I wouldn't even. It's not even close. I mean, yeah, they haven't seen Super Bowls, but Pete Carroll, in his breadth of his career, had so many more winning seasons. He's got a better. I bet he has a better winning percentage. I mean, Sean Payton's got this aura about him, right? That's it. He's got this aura about him. But actually, Pete Carroll is just so subdued. Like, it's funny. He's subdued, but he's not. That's even. It's funnier. People think, oh, you know, Payton's this fiery coach, and then you look at Pete Carroll, and he's like so subdued, but the dude is not subdued at all. He's a firecracker. It just doesn't get reported. I mean, I don't know. There's a bias against the Raiders. There's always has been, and it doesn't matter. It's like the Raiders, you know, that's why so many Bears fans are Raiders fans for the AFC. Like, if you ask Bears fans who their AFC team, a lot of them will say the Raiders. Why? Because there's a kinship there. They always get shit on because they're not the sexy team from the West Coast. They're the gritty, blue-collar, lunch pail team. They're not the glam and glitz of the West. I mean, I don't know. I think
Sean Payton has a better winning percentage than Pete Carroll.
Does he?
Yeah, Pete Carroll's is .586. And Sean Payton's is .611.
What's the overall record? So, I mean, obviously Pete Carroll's coached a lot longer than Payton, though.
It is.
I'll give Payton credit. He wasn't a spare bear. Sean Payton was a spare bear. People forget that. He played for the Spare Bears during the strike season.
What massively hurts Pete Carroll is his first head coaching stint.
Yeah.
If you look at just the Seahawks, he It's close because Sean Payton's record is 170 versus 105, and Pete Carroll's Seattle time is 137 versus 89.
Yeah. I mean, Sean, of course, look, Carroll made the biggest mistake ever. I think his biggest blunder was not giving the Marshawn the rock and trying to throw that touchdown against the Pats. But honestly, though, once again, people just overlook the Raiders and go, "Oh, but look at Denver." Like, I'm sorry, Denver had a good run last year with a rookie quarterback. That happens from year to year. Every so often it happens. And now they're like, oh, I mean, I've seen these articles where they're anointing them a Super Bowl run. And, dude, first off, Denver's not getting past Cincinnati, even with their lack of defense. They're definitely not getting past Buffalo. They're definitely not getting past
Baltimore.
They might get past Kansas City in a playoff game. Might. Maybe. No, wait, no, they won't. I'll take Mahomes over Knicks any day of the week. And honestly, in that division, all the coaches there are good. So, like, I'm sorry, give Harbaugh credit. He'll make something happen with that Chargers team. Like, people will say, oh, the Chargers, they just lost a big piece of their offensive line. And Harbaugh's like, whatever, hold my beer. I mean, look, I said I didn't know. I said I'd bet. It just seems that Pete Carroll's had more success than Sean Payton overall. He has more Super Bowl appearances, right? So I mean that's kind of like well, I think at their current age, who would I take, Sean or Pete? I mean, look, Sean's going to be around longer than Pete is. Pete's probably got 3 to 5 years, and he's definitely going to retire because he's not going to coach until he dies. Then again, he might be like Marv Levy and live to be 100 plus. I think Marv Levy might try to get back on the field at 100 years old. I don't know. I don't know who I would take, to be honest. Because here's the thing. Actually, no, I'll tell you who I would take Pete. Because you know what? Sean, his entire career is basically based off of having Drew Brees. Post Drew Brees, he's struggled. Whereas Pete has brought up a couple different quarterbacks. And he's gone through different editions of teams. And so he's grown teams. So I think I'd take Pete, to be honest. Oh, I know, but Bo Nix, Luca, I mean, come on. He's the Messiah. He walks on water, according to a lot of people. Yeah, I kind of agree with that, too, a little bit. I mean, they didn't play any of their starters. They phoned it in, right? Yeah. They phoned it in.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be surprised if that was an actual meeting they had of, we don't mind losing this game here. We're not looking for it to, we got to hurry up and win because we want the best teams there. I think they were a little scared of that Burrow effect.
Luca makes another great point. When the salary cap became a massive issue for all the stuff that Sean Payton wanted, I'm going to just retire. Mm-hmm. And then he forces himself to be traded. Pete Carroll's left his teams when he left the Seahawks, he left them in a pretty good position. He didn't leave them in as bad of a spot. And Sean Payton left but I would take Pete Carroll, I think. I think I would take Pete Carroll over Sean Payton to build a franchise. The hard part is Sean, is that Pete Carroll is a little up there in age. He's 72. Maybe he's got 20 years of coaching left. I don't know. But I would take Pete. And that's why I don't understand why the Raiders are getting zero love from the media. And it's all about the Broncos and then the Chargers get shit on too because they're not the Rams, I guess. But dude, the Broncos, Harbaugh is a good coach. And they will find the next man up on that line, and he will make something work there. And they probably got the best running back in the draft with Amari Hampton. So they're going to do some things. And we lost Ken. He'll be back. His internet.
Well, that's still to be seen.
Yeah.
There's more than one good running back in this draft, I think.
Yeah, well, okay, well, they got one of the better running backs in the draft, one of the top running
Yeah,
backs.
absolutely. But the best, because like I think Trevion Henderson is going to be really good. To be honest with you, like
It could be.
I really wanted the Raiders to get him, but New England ended up taking him.
So I mean, I think the Raiders are going to be a lot better than. I'm just tired of.
That's the story of the Raiders, though. It's like,
Well,
and I think Ken brought up a good point that the Raiders have been so bad for so long that people kind of just expect it. They look at them as being one of those snake bit teams that just is never going to get it right, and you know that's their deal, you know. But I don't see them as being a team that's never going to get it right. I look at it as, you know, they made some bad choices over the course of the last 20 years, like free agent wise.
A lot of teams have, though, and even when the Raiders like last year was injuries. I think last year a lot of it was just injuries.
And I think also looking back on it, I don't think AP was a very good head coach. Like he was a very good inspirational coach, but when it came down to X's and O's,
he was the Dan Campbell without the coordinators.
Yeah, exactly. His defensive coordinator was good, but you know his offensive coordinator was not good. And AP had some real problems with like clock management. And then you have Gardner Minshew, who had one of the worst seasons by a quarterback I've seen in a long time.
Well, his worst season ever. Yeah. Minshew. That was because Minshew was a pretty. I mean, he did really good in Indy, and then he comes to Vegas, and it's like he just never left the van.
It's like he just forgot how to play football.
Yeah, the party in the van's too good, guys. I'm going to phone it in. You know, I mean, yeah, I mean, so I just don't get. I get we're kind of looking at like last. You know, everyone goes, "Oh, but last year, dude, that was last year. Last year has nothing to do with this year. There's been so much turnover with these teams. Oh, the Bears last year, like whole new coaching staff. I don't think they're going to be fumbling the play clock like they did last year, the Bears. I don't think the Raiders are going to have as many injuries on defense. You know, and they've got better coaching and a better quarterback.
Another problem for the Raiders, I think another reason why people are kind of crapping on the Raiders this year is because the Raiders lost a lot of defensive starters to free agency. You know, like they're both their starting linebackers, Spillane and Diablo, are gone. Their starting safety, Merrick, is gone. You know, they lost Christian Wilkins. They waived him, right?
Yeah, and, good morning, Billy.
Marcus Epps, their other starting safety, I think is gone. They just traded Jacorian Bennett, who was one of their starters last year at corner. So they're starting pretty much like almost a whole new defense.
They are, but Pete Carroll's showing a proclivity to be able to build great defenses with guys we've never heard of before, like the Legion of Boom, or a bunch of guys we never heard of before, and all of a sudden the Legion of Boom. So I'll give him some credit there.
You and I see that, but I don't think that a lot of people see that. I think they look at, you know, oh, the Raiders went out and, you know, they didn't replace what they lost, and so they expect our defense to be really bad, and they don't really pay attention to, you know, like the guys that we actually went and got. I think our defense this year has a chance to be boom or bust. I think, like our linebacking core, we went and got Landon Roberts from the Steelers. We got Jermaine Pratt from the Bengals. And, you know, Jermaine Pratt's a little bit on the older side, but he's still been a fairly productive player. We went and got Devin White from the Eagles, who, you know, had a Pro Bowl season or maybe even all pro season, and then just sort of fell off after that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're hoping that they can sort of rekindle that in him. Like he's only 27 and he's a monster athlete. So I actually expect our linebacking core to be better than it was last year, to be honest with you. And that's not even counting they got Jamal Adams and they moved him to linebacker too.
Well,
So
something else that's going to impact the division, which broke last night. I don't get the NFL. So with the Vikings and Addison, that he's got 3-game suspension. And they did it during the preseason, right? People are like, well, what about Rashee Rice? Because his stuff's been adjudicated, right? They set the hearing date for him at the conclusion of week 4 on September 30th. Like, I don't get that. So Rashee Rice for the Chiefs will probably get a suspension. That'll start week 5.
yeah,
Which makes no sense to me. So he'll miss if they do September 30th is the first game he would miss. Oh wait, yeah, I think it's even better. You want even better for this? Okay, so he'd miss October 6th against the Jaguars. That's like, who cares if he misses that game? Week 2, the second week of his suspension, if it's at least 3 games, would be against the Lions. He'd miss that game. And then if it's only a 3-game, then he'd also miss or do they have a bye? Let me see. They might have a bye for that week. No, the Raiders in Kansas City when the Raiders go to KC. So, but I don't understand with Rashee Rice why they're waiting until September 30th to do it. Just do it now. Like, get his suspension out of the way. It's weird to do it in the middle of the season like that.
yeah, I don't know. The Chiefs always get special treatment. You know, they get treated with kid gloves. So,
well, also, Brian Flores won another victory in his case. The Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in in Manhattan upheld a prior ruling indicating that Flores will be permitted to put the NFL on trial, and he can sue those 3 teams from everyone he didn't get the head coaching gig. You know, the whole Brian gate. Oh, I texted the wrong Brian that we're going to hire him. That one's going to be interesting. Also, speaking more legal news, yesterday was legal day in the NFL. I don't know why. Kushan Junkins, the second-round pick from and the last guy in the draft not to be signed, is not going to face any charges for the domestic stuff here in Florida. No charges are being filed at all. There's no civilian case against him. Nothing.
I said it.
So
I said it. I said, like, let's just wait and see, because, you know, I really felt like the longer that investigation went, the less likely it was that they were going to file charges.
Yeah.
Because generally, if they've got something on you, they don't wait to file.
No.
Like, if they have something, they want you in court. You know.
So he's going to get his contract. I'm sure they're signing it today, and he'll be back. Or, you know, he'll sign it this weekend. He'll be on the practice field on Monday because they're waiting for him to get there.
You know, another interesting thing is that Gruden won his case too, in the Supreme Court of Nevada. So you have Gruden and you have Flores now. It makes me wonder what kind of discovery is going to come out of that.
Well, the Flores case is a little, well, they're different in different ways, right? Because, like, okay, Flores are saying there was some collusion not to hire him, and his big thing is a text message from Bill Belichick, right? Mm-hmm. Where Bill's telling Brian Dable, "Hey, we're going to hire you," like, or no, not that, saying that, "Hey, congratulations on getting the job with the Giants," or something like that, right? Something that's what it was. He texted Grable to say, "Hey, congrats with the job in New York," but he texted Flores. But he texted it to Flores by accident, right? And so that's what started this whole thing off. That one's going to be a little bit harder. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if he's right, but I don't think owners would. I mean, I'd like to think that owners would not collude to not hire a guy as the head coach. Obviously, the collusion's a little bit weak because he went and got a job with Minnesota as a DC and is making great money as a DC. But I think his case is a little bit hard for Gruden. He's saying, look, the NFL disseminated my email and my emails about me and me only, right? There were no other coaches or any of these other people brought up, just me. And I think he's got a little bit of a stronger case. And then when the NFL tried to arbitrate it themselves, well, Goodell will be the judge of whether or not, they did wrong. Yeah, no. I think, though, both these cases are bigger ramifications on the NFL and their own, the way they adjudicate things within the organization as violating people's rights, with some of the things they do. And I think it has even bigger ramifications outside the NFL because it's going to affect ML. Look, if you're the commissioner of Major League Baseball or the commissioner of the NHL or of MLS or NBA, I mean, you're looking at this case because it's going to affect your organization as well. Like, these sports bodies don't have the autonomy they thought they did.
Yeah. I mean, the Gruden case is huge because it's pretty much going to do away with arbitration. Like, when somebody's fired, it's going to probably do away with arbitration. Is ridiculous in the first place. Like, they take away, if they do you wrong, they take away your ability to sue them. You have to go through arbitration first, and the head arbitrator is the head of the league who you're accusing of wrongdoing. Like, right. So they're like, well, we did an investigation and we found that we did nothing wrong. Like, that's usually what happened.
That's like Ken and his internet company probably right now. They're probably, we did nothing wrong. Well, your internet's not working. Well, no, it's working. No, it's not. Well, we just did arbitration with ourselves and found that you're wrong and we're right.
Yeah. So I think the Flores case, I do agree with you. I think that the Flores case it's not as good of a case as Gruden's case is, but I think that Gruden's case and Flores's case they're both pointing to the same kind of thing, which is that there's some shady stuff going on at the top level of the NFL amongst the owners and the commissioner. And
well, then you tie that in with some of the stuff we've had with the NFLPA and the collusion cases there. So that, and I'll tell you what this is all leading to. The NFL is going to lose their antitrust.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at it, like, it really does. All of these, if it was one case, it's sort of like the Deshaun Watson thing, right? Like, not to get off track on like sexual assault or anything, but like if Deshaun Watson had one accuser, like he would have a much better chance of trying to like fight those charges or fight that to dispute that, right? But the fact that it's 20 something accusers, at some point you're like, you know what? Whether he did all of this or not, he did something, because there's no way that all these people come out of the woodwork that don't even know each other, right? I think that sort of thing is happening here, where it's like there's all these different complaints and they vary in nature, but it all comes down to the NFL being shady in some way. Like, there's too many complaints there's too much smoke for there not to be some kind of fire.
For Luca's comment though, like, okay, Flores has receipts that Miami's owner tried to lose on purpose. Okay, and I mean, seriously, that if I'm a judge, I'm like, okay, and it's not against the law to tank. It's not against the law to instruct your team to lose games. I don't even think that's even against NFL rules, to be honest with you. I mean, you wouldn't want anyone to know that you're tanking. You're not going to broadcast it. Good morning, brother. You're not going to broadcast to your fans, hey, we're going to tank. But there's no law. And if the owner goes to the head coach, I want you to lose games, and you say no, then guess what? He has every right in this country to fire you for not doing your job as instructed. So, people think that's like some silver bullet, but it's not. Like, Flores, I'm upset because they told me to lose. And?
Can I push back on that a little bit?
Yeah, please do.
So as an NFL head coach, your job is to win, and you're judged off of your win-loss record, and you're judged off of the last job that you did, right? So
I agree with that piece.
To Flores's point, like, if I do this for you, right? Like, if I tank for you and you get the quarterback that you want or whatever it is that you were hoping to get by tanking, what's to stop you from then firing me and then rebuilding your whole organization? But now I have to go find another job, and I'm coming off a 2-15 season because you ordered me to tank, right? I can't go to the next organization and be like, well, I was ordered to tank. Like, that's not gonna fly, right?
He evaluated his head coach amongst other teams, and Miami owner told the other owners not to hire him. Collusion. Gotta give Luka the typo moment there. Look, but he's got to prove that second piece. He's got to prove the second piece that he went to other owners and said, don't hire this guy because of X, Y, or Z. That's got to be proven, like, concretely in order for him to get collusion. See, I almost did it now. Thanks, Luka. He's got to be able to prove that. But, like, telling you to tank, and Joe, you're right, but at the same time, that's not just because, well, my owner told me to tank and I didn't want to, doesn't get you a lawsuit. Because, I mean, even though your argument is correct, a judge like, yeah, what is not his problem, right? I mean, it's like, it's not against the law for him to tell you to tank, but maybe you should have gotten something in writing from him, giving you certain assurances if you were to do something that maybe is not part of the normal job description, like tanking, because a job description is normally to win. So if you wanted something like that, maybe you should have gotten something right, but it's not against the law what he did in terms of what he did to you as coach of Miami. He could tell you to lose games if he wants. He owns the team.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So
your point is 100% valid, though. But legally speaking, the judge's like, okay, yeah, sure, and it would have maybe devalued, even if he agrees with that, it's still not against the law. The part where he's got to prove is that where then the owner went to other owners and said, don't let your guys hire this guy because he's not a team player or whatever. Like, I mean, I get that.
Yeah, but he also, like, being ordered to tank.
Hold on. Okay. Luka, no, it's not. It's not. Just the tanking in it. Well, let me quantify this. The tanking in of itself would not be a federal crime unless they had money bet that they bet money on it. That if the Miami Dolphins ownership that told them to tank profited from betting, then yes. But no, because they make no money off of that. It's not the same at all. In order for it to be a federal crime for them to tank, they would have to profit financially from it, directly from betting. Just like stock manipulation. Why is that? Because you make money on the stock, right? From manipulating it. Unless they made money from the betting, it wouldn't be a federal crime. Go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, I had an analogy, but I don't think it quite fits, because one is a legal thing, and there are certain laws, whereas with the NFL, like, there really is no governing law about tanking. So, but I definitely see Flores' argument that if he would have went through with tanking, it would devalue him as a head coach. It would certainly affect his. I don't think there's anybody that can argue that it wouldn't affect his prospects at getting a future head coaching job. And also you have to remember that this is coming on the back of, like, I think what helps Flores' case is the fact that the Miami owner was fined and lost draft picks for trying to illegally recruit Tom Brady while Flores was head coach. He ordered Flores to be there at the meeting, and Flores refused because it's against NFL rules. Like, I think that shows a pattern of behavior by the ownership that, it shows that they're not exactly the most honest people.
No, I agree with that. But Luka's point, get a franchise quarterback vastly increased the value of the team. Okay, and
so what he's saying is, if
I know what he's saying, but it does nothing with he's trying to tag it to this,
right?
But it doesn't.
He's trying to say that the quarterback would be the profit.
But that has nothing to do with gambling in Florida.
No, yeah, it's kind of
Once again, they would have to profit from making sports bets, which they can't do anyways. You can't bet on your own team legally. So if they did that, that'd be a whole nother animal. Yeah, exactly. Here, Yinzer nails it. It's not really cheating, but it's douchebag. Yep.
But when you add in that, you know, the owner not only wanted him to tank, but also illegally pursued Tom Brady, and the NFL disciplined him for it, then I think it lends credence to Brian Flores's accusations.
Yeah, but he's not suing Miami.
Right.
He's suing 3 other teams. So he's got to prove that those 3 teams have he has to show concrete conversations between their owner and Miami's owner.
You're right.
Where they colluded not to hire him. So all that's superfluous. It doesn't really matter. I mean, and he can't go and say, well, you know, the Giants didn't hire me because the Miami situation tainted me. Okay. And I mean, Minnesota hired you, maybe not as a head coach, but they hired you and gave you a coaching position. Might not have been you're not guaranteed a position in life, or you know, in the NFL or anywhere else. So okay, so New York didn't hire you. Well, yeah, but Belichick sent me this text that went to the wrong. Okay, and so it's not to say that, you know, when the paperwork hit the office and he heard that his buddy Brian got a head coaching position, that, you know, because that, look at the text was only hours before the media broke the story of the hiring. So okay, so it's not, you know, is it to say that other head coaches in the league didn't hear about the hiring of a new head coach before the media? I would believe that could be possibly true. And look, at New England's not in this collusion case, and Belichick was coaching for New England at the time. Mm-hmm. So, you know, once again, where are the tie-ins of this? I mean, he's got a little bit of a harder case than Gruden does, where it's like emails from Dan Snyder's personal email account that the NFL somehow rooted through and then released only Gruden's emails. And made everything
much stronger. Because in Discovery, they're going to have to release all those emails.
And you know
they're going to have to release everything.
Yeah, and you know what the funny thing with the Gruden case is? Like, they were looking to get shit on Dan Snyder to get him out of the league, right? But that whole thing became all about Gruden, not even about Dan Snyder. Snyder was a footnote. They focused on Gruden, and said nothing about Snyder, but he was supposedly the focus of their investigation, right? So, I mean, Gruden's got a little bit of a stronger case. And I'm not saying, you know, Flores doesn't have a case. And Luke, I get it. You're fighting for the guy because he's your defensive coordinator. But the problem with his case is he's going to show collusion between 3 teams not called Miami Dolphins, because he is not suing the Miami Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I mean, his case is going to be a little interesting, more interesting. And it's got to deal. You know, I got to read more into what he's actually trying to say the NFL itself did wrong. And why doesn't Flores try to get her head coaching job? Yeah, he's suing the Broncos, the Giants, and the Texans. Right? That's who he's going to sue. None of which over Miami.
I thought Miami was included in the lawsuit.
What now?
I thought Miami was included in the lawsuit.
Nope. He sued 3 teams: the Broncos, the Giants, and the Texans. And the league. And the NFL itself. So he sued the league and those 3 teams. So basically, like, in this victory he just got, just like Gruden, let's be clear. These victories they got doesn't mean that these guys are right for their case. These courts have just ruled that they have the right in court to sue the NFL and these teams. Didn't adjudicate anything about the merit of the actual claim that, yes, there was collusion or yes, they did wrong. Just that they have the right to actually sue these entities in court. That's all these decisions are. So the NFL still has not had any blame assigned. It's not a victory in terms of, see, they colluded. It is a victory in terms of saying, no, NFL, you can't just adjudicate it yourself.
Well, but with Gruden's case, it's a much bigger victory because the fact is the NFL has spent a lot of money and a lot of time trying to keep Gruden's case out of the courtroom. Like they've
Yep.
tried every angle that they could to force Gruden into arbitration, because they're really, I mean, the only assumption that you can make is that they're genuinely worried about these emails being made part of discovery, like during the case, because they know it's bad. And
Oh yeah.
like,
Well, they
because,
know there's stuff that didn't release that's going to make them look really bad.
because and the fact it does look like they specifically targeted Gruden, and they it makes you wonder, like, what else is in those emails. I'm sure
Well,
there was much worse stuff in those
And,
emails.
and in the process, they completely derailed the Raiders. Oh wait, I mean they're not like there's beef between the Raiders and the NFL over a history of time because of Al Davis, and that's going to play because it's a known fact that the NFL's always had beef with the Raiders, and
Yep.
Davis was always fighting the NFL and doing what he kind of wanted. And the NFL said, "You can't move to LA. Watch. You can't move back to Oakland. Watch. You can't move to Vegas. Hold my beer." You know, I mean, the Raiders will do what the Raiders want. The NFL has always been kind of powerless, so the NFL was looking. Oh, I mean, we get to kill two birds with one stone here. We get to get rid of Gruden, derail the Raiders, and and then actually, if you want to go even further, you could say because of all that, the cascade they ruined Carr's career, because whereas Carr was ascending again, then he plummeted, and other players. I mean, oh my God, the amount of cases, the amount of stuff the NFL,
Dude,
oof,
and see, it's kind of like been swept under the rug. But at the time that the NFL released those emails, the Raiders were 3-0.
yeah,
They were the unexpected 3-0 team. They were killing it, dude. It finally looked like Gruden had, the system was established. Carr was thriving. Carr was on pace at that point for like an MVP candidate kind of season. And then all of a sudden the emails got released. Gruden gets fired, and then they ended up making the playoffs anyway, but it was only, it was ridiculous. And it was so obvious that what they were trying to do, that they were trying to get rid of Gruden. It's not just Raider fans that think that either. It's like, I think most NFL fans agree that there was something going on there that was not just, in the NFL wasn't just in the interest of being righteous. Like, we need to release these emails because Gruden's a really bad guy. Like, I think everybody understands that there was a lot more to those emails that didn't get released. And people are like, I wonder what else was in there,
And was there anything worthy of those emails of being fired either or being forced out? I mean, okay, so locker room talk, whatever. I mean, granted, the political situation be as woke as it was, I get the cancel culture, but he didn't commit any crimes or admit to any of those any crimes in those emails. Did he? Not that I'm aware of.
No,
So,
and also the emails were like 10 years old. They were from when he was an analyst at ESPN. The emails are not good either way. Like, the emails are not good.
Yeah.
I mean,
they don't sound good, but I mean, it's like, hey, look, it's still not something that should get you fired. I mean,
the ones that were considered racist, like, I think those could get you fired. When you're in a league where it's a majority of black players, like.
But you know what's funny though? Even though what they say, all these emails are he's so racist, but like not a single player of any of those backgrounds have ever said, "Oh yeah, he's racist." In fact, they've all said the opposite.
That's the other thing is, like, any player who's actually played, any player who actually played for Gruden, any black player that ever played for Gruden has never made any sort of accusation like that at all.
None.
But
In fact,
did have guys.
I remember when those emails came out. Players came out in his defense, like, "What are you smoking?"
Yeah.
So,
but there were players like Keyshawn Johnson, guys who live for clickbait that were so appalled at these emails and stuff, and
I never played for Gruden, but oh my God, he's so like. And then the guys who played for Gruden are like, yeah, no. Oh, hey, there's other news. Yes, let me get to this real quick too before I forget, Joe. Hey, the Commanders signed a wide receiver. No, it's not the one you wanted.
I didn't think so.
Daryl Worley now his 10th NFL team. Well, that's the defensive back. I'm sorry. Wide receiver was River Craycraft, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, no big signing there. It's funny because we finally look at the Bills took care of business, signed their running back, and it was like, oh, the contracts are going to fall now. No one else. I mean, I haven't heard anything on the big three hold-ins right now. Not a thing. And the funny thing is, with Micah Parsons, it sounds like there's been zero communication between Parsons and the Cowboys since the note I want to trade and his X rants and Instagram rants. With Trey Hendrickson, I think that one's getting close. I think it's just they got to come up with the number, right? The guaranteed number. So I think they're actually okay. But then you look at Washington with Scary Terry. There's been no news on Scary Terry either. At least with Henderson, you say, well, the reports are the numbers okay. It's just, the guarantee, which is understandable. That's usually the hiccup. But with these other two, we've been devoid of any, even insider, a guy close to the organization says kind of crap, right? There's been nothing. So yeah. I'm wondering what's going to happen with Parsons and Scary Terry as we get to week 2 preseason games this weekend. I mean, preseason's got about a week left. Right? We got a week left. And then they break and go and break camp and get ready for the regular season. So you were 2 weeks out from the regular season, about 2.5, 3 weeks out, whatever it is, from the regular season. And yeah. McLaurin didn't sign because I heard he's getting fitted for a Steelers jersey.
Well, the thing is, they're both under contract for this year. So if they hold out into the season, every game that they don't play is a game that they owe to that team. So,
it's a game check, yeah.
Well, not just a game check, but it doesn't count towards their accrual of time. So they'll owe them another season. Like their contract will be frozen and they'll owe them another season. So I don't see them holding out into the season. I think if it goes that far to where we're looking at week 1, I think they come back and they play on their contracts. They make their money, whatever it is. And because they want to keep the process going forward,
like no camp at all, no preseason, no anything. I mean, yeah, they were there watching, but I mean, that does make the smarter for those two guys. But just because they report all of a sudden when camp ends doesn't mean that, they're going to play. The coaches are going to want to play them. But, I agree with you. We all learned from Le'Veon Bell. You don't do it. Especially if you're Scary Terry and you're 30, you're going to play. And both these guys are over 30, but, Trey will get the contract, but Micah, he's young. That situation is just bad. That's
the thing I don't get for Jerry, like if you have no intention of signing Micah, why are you going to wait until the season starts where now you're going to trade him before the trade deadline at a huge loss rather than trading him now where you could get the maximum possible value for him?
Yep.
It's kind of the same with Terry too. Like, if Terry's going to come in and play, right? Like, unless the Commanders are content to just ride out this season with him and then release him, or he'll be a free agent. That I could see that. See, I think they're a little bit different situations. I think with Terry, they're content to no, you're just going to play on this last year of your contract, and then you can go wherever you want, right? Which is good for Terry because he has a chance to at least get one last contract. With Micah, they still own his rights for 2 years. I mean, they could franchise him for 2 years.
Yeah,
it makes more sense if you're not going to pay him, just trade him now. Why are you going to wait and take a huge loss at the trade deadline because you're not getting 2 first-round picks at the trade deadline.
Barry thinks he's going to win a Super Bowl every year, and he's not. Philip says the pundits are sure making a big deal about Caleb. Enough already. Let's play the season at least. It goes both ways, Philip, because I saw the thing. He's been catching fire at camp the last couple days. It's starting to click for him, the new offense, and supposedly he's been tearing camp up. Great. Yeah, let's get the season. I mean, Philip, that's every team. The pundits are going to say Caleb is terrible today. Then now he's great and he's tearing it up. I mean, you can find a click. You're going to find a clickbaitist who's going to give you whatever they think is going to get you. Like, you're going to find one that's going to say Caleb is doing terrible, so people are going to clip on it because they see the other argument. So he's doing great. So which one is it? Yeah, the regular season show right now. When it goes to the starting quarterbacks in this league at preseason, I don't put much into the camp news on them because they're not the focus for me. The focus is the position battles. Those are the guys you want to hear about at camp. Like for the Bears, like believe it or not, it's a 4-way race for left tackle. Right now, according to last week by who didn't play, Braxton Jones is still the starting left tackle in Chicago. However, Theo Bennett, the Canadian Eagle, has been the surprise at camp at left tackle. So planning Ozzie Trapillo as possibly the favorite to take over that position at some point. Trapillo played in the third and fourth quarter last week. He did not play in the first and second. He was the last guy to play. So it is interesting to see the camp news with that stuff. But with the quarterbacks, yeah, I don't deal. Lucas says players only have to show up for 6 games to accrue credit for free agency. He's correct. So McLaurin could wait. He doesn't have to report until like week 10. They can all wait. And same thing with Mike. He can wait till week 10 and won't lose the season. He is right. I think it's week 10, or they have to report at the conclusion of week 10. So they're for 11 through 17. Yeah, I mean, well, okay. Yisner brings up a point that'll be debated heavily. Oh, he's worth the first round or whatever. Lucas says, I wish Minnesota could afford him. I wish the Bears could afford him. But then the problem also is where we get, we got good wide receiving rooms. Good
I know
morning,
a team that can afford him.
Yeah, the Raiders.
I know a team that can afford him.
But, these guys with the 6-game rule, and Luca brings it up a time because we always forget that. We got the Bills at joint practice today, and then we got them on Sunday night. So we'll get to see a lot of Mitch Trubisky. Or he might not, because he might not play this week because they're the way they're rotating, they're the guys battling for the second string. I'm not sure. Anywho, the starters are playing, though, for Chicago. We knew maybe probably for Buffalo, too. You probably see Josh Allen. The problem with these guys, yeah, they can sit the majority of the season and then come back. The problem for Terry and Trey is their age. Micah is in a good position, but Jerry Jones is just so, and rightfully so, because look, say what you will, but Jerry Jones is a very successful businessman. He knows business. And for him, he's in business mode, not game mode, so to speak, which fans don't want to hear, but that's why his team's symbol is a rating system. He thinks they're going to win a Super Bowl. And that's why he doesn't want, Vinny, how did I become a Bears fan? Born and raised in Chicago. That's simple. That's simple. I don't have some WGN story like guys get for the Cubs. Like I grew up in Georgia but watched the Cubs on WGN. I mean, I did that too, but no, I was born and raised in Chicago. But no, I don't know, man. These contracts, when do they? Let me ask you this, Joe. Which one of the three do you think? Well, I think we probably agree that trades will probably be the next resolved, right? If it's just down to guaranteed, they'll probably get to that before the season starts. But let's talk about Micah and Scary Terry. Which one do you think gets resolved first?
I don't know. It's difficult to say because, like, the situations. Like Terry is under contract for this year, right? As much as he wants a new contract, they don't really have to give him one. They can force him to play out his contract this year, but then he's a free agent, right? So I think if they make it known to him that they're not giving him a new contract, then Terry will just play out the year and then go be a free agent next year, which is good for him because he'll have a chance to get that one last contract. With Micah, this is only his 5th-year option, so they still have 2 years that they could franchise tag him. They kind of have all the leverage. Like,
well, he doesn't have to sign the tag, but
no, he doesn't have to sign it, but
like, okay, let's say they tag him, he doesn't play in the tag. They can tag him a second time, and he doesn't sign the tag, but that's like sitting 2 years. Yeah, it's still an uphill battle for him.
Yeah, the Cowboys really have all the leverage. The only leverage he has is if he just says, look, I'm not going to play on the tag and I'm not going to play this year. Like, he can hold out, and eventually they'll get to the point where it's like, you know, why do we have that? Why are we wasting a roster space on a guy who's not going to play for us? Yeah. And they'll trade him. But I think it's bad for the Cowboys because the longer he holds out and the longer you don't sign him, the lower his trade value goes. So right now, in my opinion, I think the Cowboys would be better off trading him now because you could sell really high.
No, born and raised. Yeah, I agree. I think Terry resolves first, and then something will happen with the Micah situation. Do you think a major trade? Well, first off, let me go back up to Vinny here. I was just up in Connecticut. I have family up there. What's that big Indian casino? We were there for 4th of July up there in Connecticut. Nice place up there. And of course, we got to see, a certain person's house, which we mentioned yesterday, which we could have cared less, but it was a big part of the tour. Any major trade in my hat before the season? Yeah, it could be Micah, right? It could be Micah. The money Micah wants, though, is justifiable, though. I think his money is justifiable to a degree, as much as it can be justifiable in today's NFL. So yeah, I mean, no, we're probably there at the same time. Didn't even realize it. He's probably easier to trade than Scary Terry too, because of the age. Like, if I'm the Bears, I don't mind ruining some of my planning, in financial planning over the next 3 to 5 years for Micah. Like, I don't mind it. For Scary Terry, I would. So I think Micah's more likely would be one of those big trades. I don't think there'd be any other big trades before the season, though.
I think those are the ones. and wow.
Luka.
I think also that
Luka,
Micah.
Hold on. I got to do this for Luka. Luka, man, look. I promise you, I wouldn't talk about your OnlyFans page to fund your travels for the Vikings and how you're doing the transvestite model sleeping with OnlyFans and this whole thing that you've got with transvestites on OnlyFans. I don't understand it, but I've left it out of conversation, Luka. So come on, man. Don't make us go into how you fund all your road dog travels and how you're banned in 3 countries in Europe over it. I'm just saying. It's got. I think it's got more than that. We're up the YouTube. Yeah. Well, we just started the YouTube about a year ago. YouTube for us, we don't push YouTube as hard as we probably should, so it is growing slow. And if you look at Ken the Bear fan, I don't even push it. I think I'm like 20 or 30. For me, it's a repository of our shows. And speaking of shows, Joe, we're out of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, thank you for being with us this morning. Joe, of course, thank you for being here as always. Guys in the comments, thank you. Even Luka, who's banned now news just got word, banned now in 4 countries for his OnlyFans activities. Bonnie Blue is reaching out to sign him to her new network. Anywho, you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy some football. We'll be back here Monday morning to talk about it. And don't forget the individual team shows over the weekend, like the Bears, the Packers, and everyone else. You guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you all Monday. Thanks, everyone. Bye.